Okay, so now we're going to try and define price level stability. But in order to define price level stability, we need to know what a price level is. Okay, what is a price level? So, So price level. And remember, when we defined inflation, we also included the phrase price level. So it's going to be really important for you to understand, well, what is the price level? Well, the definition I'm going to give you is the average price of a pile of stuff that includes most items that most households buy. So, I want to talk about this pile of stuff that includes most items that most households buy. Think about the kinds of things that almost everybody buys. And I say almost everybody. Let's say, I don't know, maybe 85 or 90% of the people out there, or the households out there. Most families buy a gallon of milk at some point or another. Most families buy a loaf of bread. Most families buy cell phone service. Most families buy toilet paper. Most families buy soap, toothpaste. Okay, so these are all the kinds of regular things. Eggs, a dozen eggs. And so what the price level is, now this is an abstract concept, okay, and we're gonna translate this abstract concept a little bit later into a concrete indicator, a concrete mathematical number. The price level as an abstract concept is just the idea of taking this pile of stuff that includes all the things that most people buy, like milk and bread and soap and cell phone service and gasoline, a gallon of gasoline probably, and then taking the average price of all that stuff. And here's the idea, is that over time, this is inflation, so the idea of inflation is a sustained rise in the price, in the general price level within an economy. And what we're saying with inflation is that this pile of stuff is becoming more and more expensive year after year after year after year in the United States. If we went back 50 years, a gallon of milk and a dozen eggs and a loaf of bread and some detergent and a t-shirt and phone service and a gallon of gas, all those things, their prices were a lot less in the United States than they are today. And so what has happened over the past 50 years is the prices of all those things have gone up. And the idea that the prices of all those things have gone up, the price of the whole pile has gone up, indicates that the price level has increased over time in the United States. That is inflation. So the price level, like I said, it's just basically the average price of this pile of stuff. So now that we understand what the price level is, we can now define the idea of price level stability. What does it mean for the price level in an economy to be stable? Consider this analogy. Imagine being in the back of a pickup truck and trying to stand up while someone's driving the pickup truck. And you're standing in the back of the pickup truck like this, okay? And they're driving it, so the truck is moving. And they get on a highway and they drive at 80 miles an hour on that highway, and they start swerving back and forth across maybe three lanes of traffic. If you're going 80 miles an hour, swerving back and forth, there's no way that you can stand up in the back of that pickup truck. In fact, you'd be in danger even if you were kneeling down and holding on. Driving at 80 miles an hour and swerving back and forth, you're probably going to fall out of the back of that pickup truck. This is a very dangerous situation. You don't want to be in the back of that pickup truck under those conditions. On the other hand, let's say that you're in the back of this pickup truck and you're in an empty parking lot. There aren't any cars in the parking lot, just this pickup truck. And the driver of the pickup truck starts moving very slowly at about, and the whole time they're in the parking lot, they're going about 2 miles an hour. Now, 2 miles an hour is slower than the average person walks. So this pickup truck is moving slower than a walking person. And they're not swerving at all. They're just sort of, and even if they started to swerve, if they acted like, how can you swerve when you're only going 2 miles an hour? They can turn the wheel, but they're going so slow. While you're in the back of that pickup truck, even if they turn the wheel, it's very easy for you to be able to adjust and compensate your muscles so that you can keep your balance in the back of that pickup truck while it moves along at about 2 miles per hour. Okay, you can maintain your balance standing up in that truck, and you'd be a lot more comfortable and you'd feel safer. So consider this analogy when I give you this definition for price level stability. Price level stability is a situation where there are only small and gradual changes in the price level so that people in the economy can predict and plan for the negligible loss in the value of their money over time. Okay, so let's break down the pieces of this definition. Price level stability is kind of like standing in the back of the pickup truck that's going only about 2 miles an hour in the parking lot. You're stable. The truck isn't able to change its position very quickly, and any time that it starts to turn to change its position, you can adjust very easily. You can predict, you can feel with your muscles what's about to happen, and you can respond and keep yourself safe and balanced because of how slowly the truck is moving. That is stability. In the very same way, we in the economy are okay with prices going up. And when I say we, I mean most of us. There are a few people out there that get really bent out of shape if the price of a gallon of milk goes from $1 to $1.10. They say, I used to be able to buy a gallon of milk for $1. I've been buying a gallon of milk for $1 for 20 years. Why is the price going up? It's just something that happens in an economy. And what we found is that it's actually kind of healthy for the economy if prices go up just a little tiny bit at a time in a very stable way. Normatively, some people will say that that is ridiculous, that prices should stay the same forever. But it just doesn't make sense for all of the changes that are happening in the economy. So price level stability is a situation where there are only small and gradual changes in the price level. The price level, this average price of the pile of stuff, sure, the price of the pile of stuff is going up, but not very fast. In fact, the prices of things are going up so slowly that people in the economy are able to predict and plan for the fact that these price increases are going to happen. They're able to account in their budget for increases in price. It's like, well, I know that at the end of the year, my rent is going to go up by about $50 a month. So I'm getting ready for it, okay? I'm planning my budget accordingly because I know that my rent is going to go up when I get a new lease, okay? People in the economy can predict and plan for the negligible loss. Negligible means not really that noticeable. Is it a loss in the value of their money over time? You bet it is. Their money is definitely losing value over time. But it's happening in such small and gradual ways that it's negligible loss. Now, I agree that if you have, $10,000 and it just sits in a drawer somewhere, and 20 years later you go back and get the $10,000, and now you can only buy what you would have been able to buy, $10,000 20 years ago can only buy probably $5,000 worth of stuff today. I would be very angry about that, okay? But that's because you experienced 20 years of inflation in one moment when you went and got the $10,000. But if you were accounting for the gradual increase in prices over time, you could have taken that $10,000 and you could have put it in an investment. You could have put it in a mutual fund and earned 6 or 7 or 8% interest every year. The amount of interest you would have gotten on that money would have been larger than the increases in inflation. You could have been planning and predicting that money was going to lose value over time. And as long as we are able to predict and plan for the negligible loss because the changes in the price level are small and gradual, we're okay with that. We can still have a healthy economy as long as this is happening. But we will only have small and gradual changes in the price level if the price level is stable. Now, stable does not mean not changing. Stable means changing in small and gradual ways.